Do you have any wild, I did zero prep birth and regretted stories?
Zero prep and regretted it. That's a good question. So yes, I have. Many times women reach out to us for birth prep because they had a brutal first pregnancy, first delivery. So I had a mom, for her, she really had a relatively normal first delivery, but she was not taken care of. So she was very weak, so it took a long time for the baby to be birthed, but she had an epidural, so she didn't endure that labor. She told me stories of being in the room by herself. The nurse had left, the husband went to go get coffee or whatever it was, and she's like, Kat, I was just laying on my side and reading that fire extinguisher sign over and over and over again, because my brain was like, go somewhere, do something, like be distracted, because it was just like an uncomfortable situation. And she impressed upon me the lack of support and like feeling lost during her pregnancy. So we have stories like that. And then I have stories of just these women feeling massively underheard. I had a woman come from another country, and she said where she's from, a C-section is like standard protocol. She felt very confident that she was meant to deliver this baby vaginally. Her doctor recommended her to go to the hospital to just be monitored for some reason that she felt was not accurate. So she reports to me that she got to the hospital, she was put on the monitor, and the physician looked at the screen and said, oh, your baby is desatting. We need to go into C-section right now. And then she found out that the next day he was going on vacation. And so she just felt
Cheated.
taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And this is her story. She didn't tell me any other circumstances that, who knows, maybe the doctor did see something. I don't know. But, she just had that intuitive hit of, I had an experience robbed from me, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. That breaks
really
my heart.
It really is. I mean, truthfully, as a human, to think of a vulnerable person or a person in a vulnerable situation being taken advantage of because you have power or you have authority
because
or you
it's
have
inconvenient
knowledge.
to them.
It's like, truly, there's nothing worse, I don't think.
And what about a personal story? What was your most pain, like you as a physician, how was your personal birth experience of your kids?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with Marcelo, my oldest, he's 13 now. I had a fine pregnancy with him. I really didn't have any major issues. And then my physician did tell me, and truthfully looking back, he was a little bit intense about it, that I needed to be induced at 39 weeks because the baby was measuring big. And so I think he was measuring at 8.5 pounds at 39 weeks. So he induced me. He told me, tomorrow you're coming to the hospital and this is what's going to happen. And it really was not a conversation. It was very much so, this is what I recommend and this is how it's going to go down. And so I obliged, because when you're 27 and you don't know anything about anything, you just do what you're told. And I had a 24-hour labor with the 4th degree tear. Marcelo had vacuum and forceps used on him, so his little cabeza was like so mangled. He had a bruise and it was
Poor guy.
oblong. And I had a really rough outcome personally. Very much like if I reflect upon it, I went through all these phases of grief with feeling broken, suffering physically, being alone, and processing that whole experience on my own. And so between my pregnancies, I did pelvic floor and obstetric specialty training. And so when I had my daughter, I did have a phenomenal birth care team. I had a new OB. I really trusted and respected him, still do, phenomenal guy. I had a doula, I had a birth photographer, my husband was there, and I felt like, okay, I've got my people. Truthfully, I didn't train as much as I should have. And I know mentally I was not in a strong place. I had not flexed that muscle of my mental rehearsal or staying in my body or feeling centered when the world was going crazy. And I left my body at one point. I just felt like the pain was too much, and I was asking for an epidural, and it really was too late. I mean, she was born shortly after that. And that would be my, I don't really care to use the term regret, but I would, if I could go back to me before I gave birth, I'd be like, honey, you deserve to spend 30 minutes a week just studying some kind of hypnotherapy or doing a meditative practice. Like, strengthen that muscle. I thought, I watched a webinar on mental training and I did it.
Checked.
Right. That's like watching a video, watching someone else do ab exercises. You're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that.
Or like,
okay, so do it.
It's like
Go.
watching a video of like how to drive a car, and then you're giving the car keys for the first time. You're like, wow, I watched the video. I must be ready for this.
Exactly. It's like, no, girl, you got to put in the reps. You have to.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's what I would say for my second birth. I was really so loved and supported, and just me internally. I realized that in my first birth, I pointed to everything else to be like, oh, that was the problem. Really, everything I needed to have the experience that I need was within me for both. It's just I realized it the second time around when the external was all good. Then it was like, oh no. T-Swift in the house. I'm the problem. It's me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What an accountability moment for yourself.
Right?
It's so much easier to be like, that was wrong and that was wrong.
I know. Yeah.
And then when the time comes where you like check this, check that, and then the one thing you forgot to check was like, here.
Yeah. Doing the work. Me doing the work.
How has that helped you become a better physician for your people?
So physical therapist.
Yes. Well, a physical therapist, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I would say being grounded enough to encourage these girls to continue. Like being the space holder for consistency. And when you're going in that third week, fourth month, and they're like, oh, I feel this and that, and I'm over here, or maybe my strength is not where it should be, or my mental capacity. And I just listen, and I nod, and I tell them, you're exactly where you should be. Like, yeah, you should. Like, the road is bumpy, but your trajectory is in the right direction. Just keep going. Keep showing up. Rehearse. And rehearse again. If there's nothing neurologically impaired, you will learn. You just need to put in the reps.
Wow.